Let me pour up some more coffee for this one. All right, here we go. I'm just practicing, and if any of you guys have got any mashup ideas, put the two different songs, like at least like two songs. Oh, hold on. I'm just practicing, and yeah. So if you guys got any ideas for mashups, just pick two songs and put it in the same comment in the chat, and I'll do my best, dude. We'll have some fun with it. But yeah, I'm just trying to get this sequence down. Tell me what you guys think. You like that snare, Rooster Ninja? Yeah, it's a good snare. Good snare sound. I even like the kick. The kick crushes. The only one that could use replacing is the hi-hat, but I'm feeling it in this vibe. It sounds so good. Yeah, let me do something real quick. I'll be right back. I'm gonna show you another one that I got, Rooster Ninja. Thanks, Rooster. Dude, I caught your stream last night, and I was just like laying in bed, about to call it a night, and I saw that you were streaming, so I put it on, and I just had my headphones in, which really helps with that kind of music, but because you're not gonna get a good stereo spread or bass response or hear any of that cool like synthesizer-y stuff off a cell phone speaker. It's just not gonna work, you know. So I had my headphones in, and dude, that stuff was cool, man. Like previously, the stuff you were playing didn't have it's like you didn't have like a click track or like a kick drum or anything like that. I think you were mostly just kind of getting used to like the streaming setup. But dude, that stuff last night with the steady like 4 on the floor kick and just like the random like synthesizer tones and shit, like dude, that shit was crazy cool. It was a fucking journey, man. For real, I was just like laying there, like in the, you know, it was just dark in the room. The whole family's asleep. I just got my headphones in. I'm just like listening to that, just chilling. And man, that was really cool. I will definitely tune into more of those streams, man. Doing that stuff. That shit's cool. All right, so yeah, so anybody there watching right now, follow Rooster Ninja. The dude crushes. Let's see, he says, thanks for checking it out. Still getting used to it. Yeah, I feel you, dude. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm still getting used to this whole setup too. But so you like this finger drum and stuff that I set up? I've got this one other one that I did yesterday, and there's probably some people in here who are like, man, I was here yesterday. Don't show me this stuff. But I kind of did some adjustments on both of them. So, but yeah, that was Moonlight Sonata mixed up with that CeeLo Green guy. I think that's his name. And or Gnarls Barkley. That's what it was. Gnarls Barkley mixed up with Moonlight Sonata. Because, you know, Owen used to do that all the time. Mix those things up. And it always sounded really, really cool. I always liked that one a lot. But here's a concept that I made of my own. I mean, I made that last thing, but I didn't make the concept up. I got it from Owen. But, you know, we're all in this thing together. All right, so check this out. Check this out, Rooster Ninja. You know this song. Oh, wait. Where are we at? Is it this one? Not that. It should be on here. Oh, it might be this one right here. All right, yeah, dude, check this out. So,
birds flying high, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
So that's that Nina Simone song, "Feeling Good," and this song will have you feeling good. So I chopped up the song itself, and then use the kind of like acapella in the beginning to mix it all together. So check this out.
Sleep in peace when day is done. That's what I mean. Birds flying high, drifting new dawn. Birds flying high, drifting new dawns, and it's a new life. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. 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 Birds flying high, drifting new dawn, and it's a new life. Drifting on by, you know how I feel. Sleeping, birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sleep in peace when day is done. Day is done. That's what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done. That's what I mean. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life.
Yeah, so it's fun building those. I just start out with like a kick, a hi-hat, and a snare. And I've got it set up to where I can just, I've got those spots memorized, so I'll just hammer out beats on the thing. But then I'll just put in my first 4 samples, and then the way I try to set it up is to where I can trigger those samples while I'm playing the drums, and then I'll have a second round of samples that I'll do that I'll lay over the top of the other samples that accentuate it. So for instance, like the first go round is like just drums, but I'll layer over, it's one sample. I love to do the sample chop right when the kick comes in. So do a sample with the kick. So it's like, listen for the sample on each kick. So, and then so when you're doing that, then I just have a second round of samples that I can all press at the same time. So now you'll hear 3 different tones. You'll hear the song part, you'll hear a little bit of the vocal chop, and then the drums. And so I'll always punch in, like I said, on the kick drum. So
Birds flying high, drifting new dawn. Birds flying high, drifting new dawns, and it's a new life.
it's just a good formula that works out right. Thanks, Homestead Bound Bear, for the ice cream. And Rooster Ninja for the ice cream. And Backstabbing Betty for the ice cream and lemons. Yeah, dude. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's super cool, man. It's fun to work on. They're a blast to build. Just super, super cool. I mean, because it's just 16. It's a 16 grid, And this controller that I'm using, it's actually made out of arcade buttons. Like that you would find it like an arcade, like a joystick and a couple of buttons you slap. These are the same things. They're just buttons. You could beat the shit out of them. But they play really well. They play better than those rubber, square, like Akai or MPC ones, Like, I've never played a super high-end one of those, so I can't speak on that. But I like this one just because it's, like, hard plastic, and it makes an audible sound that I can hear very well, even in the room, like, without the samples playing. Like, I can hear, like, watch, I'll put the microphone right over the buttons, and you can hear what I'm talking about. Like, I can hear, it right in my face, so that way I get a good example of the timing. It works out so good. But yeah, with my software, I can just drag and drop sounds. You know, it's good for what I call storyboarding a song. So like if you've got an idea for like a mostly like a hip hop song, it's not really for like rock, but if you got an idea for like a hip hop song, it's like just get your samples, you line them up on here, you got your drum kit, and then I could hammer out a beat and I could play it like an instrument, right? It's a sampler you can play like an instrument. So the cool thing is that you can get your idea, you get your feel because you're sitting here like bobbing your head to it. You're like, oh wow, nice, that sounds really cool. But you know, if you just try to draw it all out on the computer or like the sequencer or something like that, sometimes it can be like frustrating or stale or inanimate. Um, so one thing I really, really love doing with this is just being able to throw it on this grid and kind of remix it how I would like. And it's a real blast. And once you get a formula, like people look at it and they're like, how do you know which buttons to press? It's like, you know, I did spend like an hour or two like designing the whole, you know, sound pack. So like if I'm physically dragging and dropping each little slot sound in there and then manipulating it, it's like, you know, I kind of know what's there. And also sometimes, you know, if someone built one of these things and made a sound pack that I've never played before, I could get on here and start playing it. And after a little bit, it's only 16 buttons. After a little bit, you'll remember where stuff's at and you'll make an awesome song, you know? Yeah, Rooster Ninja, you're right. Drawing it out is so difficult to capture the feels. Yep. Oh, MIDI Fighter. Are you familiar with it? Yeah, dude, it's a MIDI Fighter Spectra. Dude, check this out too, Rooster Ninja, since you know about it. This is the coolest part is that I got mine back when like the MIDI Fighter was like pretty new. And they were nowadays, if you buy one of these, it's like called the MIDI 3D Spectra or MIDI 3D, something like that, MIDI Fighter 3D. But this is the Spectra. And back in the day when I bought it, it had so many options where you could pick the colors of the buttons, you could pick the plastic, you could pick like all this different stuff, right? I paid extra to have this one with real like wood grain, so it's got walnut wood on top. It's walnut, and I chose black buttons with the black rubber outside thing, and the bottom cover's clear. You can see inside of it, but it's walnut, real walnut wood. So it's super cool, man. It's I fucking love this thing, and so you can cycle up and down to where you've got different. You could put 4 different drum packs on here and make it rock. Another thing that I do with it, I've set it up to where I'm using it now for my looper, for my live looping guitar and stuff like that, where I can loop it using just this thing. So yeah, so it's a blast, man. Super, super fun. Yeah, so you're familiar with that thing, the MIDI Fighter? That thing's cool, man. Yeah, like I said, when I bought it, you could customize how you wanted it built. And so I had it built up like this. And I think the thing's beautiful. And also it comes with software where you can control the colors of the buttons. You know, you can, like say you were bad at memorizing how you set it up. If you color code it for each button, you could have it to where it's pretty easy to memorize. But I've got it memorized. I always put my kick, hi-hat, and snare in the same spot, my same samples in the same spots, just for continuity, so I can go in between sound packs and just rock it out. No, it doesn't hold its own samples. It's just a MIDI controller. So it just controls. What I'm doing is I'm using Ableton, and I'm using the drum rack feature. So I pull on a empty drum rack onto a channel, and then I just start loading it up with sounds. I usually just start out with a kick, a hi-hat, and a snare, just so I can start getting a vibe. And then a lot of times I'll just sample stuff out of my vinyl collection. So I'll just drop a needle on the record player and find some cool sounds. And the thing is you know, each little sample I could have it looped and fade in and fade out. I could throw effects on individual buttons. It's really limitless. You could just do whatever. You can manipulate it to your heart's desire, you know. And less is more with it too, you know, just getting it just right. I used to try to make it like too complicated, and then like halfway through when you're jamming it, you're like, how did I do that thing? So I just kind of keep it simple, so that way like the coolest stuff comes out on the fly, you know, because it is somewhat, you know, confusing because there's no real visual information there. One day MIDI twister may be more useful for my setup, but I'm maxed out on gear at the moment. I feel you on that. And I definitely Rooster Ninja, I have my eye on that MIDI twister. That thing crushes. I want that shit so bad because the cool thing about it is that it's got the endless encoder knobs, but you can also push down on it, and that's a button that turns things on and off, and that would be great for live sets, like when I'm looping up guitars and drums and bass and all that stuff. What I could do is use that for turning on an effect and being able to adjust that effect parameter with that knob. So it's like, for instance, delay. Boom. You push down on the knob, it clicks on the delay, and then maybe you can twist the knob, and that's going to mess with the length of the delay, the milliseconds. So stuff like that is just great. And then also, you could do that with reverb, anything, any effect. You could use it for your volume of your individual channels, so you can use it as a mixer. You could just do so much. So essentially, I could get rid of everything on my desk that I need to control my software. I could get rid of everything and just have the MIDI fighter and the MIDI fighter twister, and I'd be good to go, because then I'd have control of effect parameters. I could turn them on and off, and then I could trigger my drum. I could do all my drums with this, and I can also do my looping through it, because my looping is in the computer on the Ableton Looper. And yeah, so that'd be a sweet setup. And the thing's like $219, so it's definitely in the cards for me. I'm gonna make that happen. I'm trying to work on getting a new audio interface first. Mine is fine, but yeah, I just need more ins and outs, because I'm using all these mixers to account for the fact that I don't have enough ins and outs. So I got my drum set on one mixer. I've got vocals and guitar and bass on another mixer. I'm making the headphone mix on another little mixer. It's like I legitimately have the three, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears situation here. I got like the giant mixer, the middle size mixer, and like the little mixer. And between all of them, the porridge is just right. Well, yeah. But yeah, this one's been a blast to throw together, man. It's super cool stuff. Water Bear says, I'm still trying to get my Tidy Labs to work properly. You're crushing, bud. Thanks, dude. Let's see. Rooster Ninja says, so fun. Yeah, I'd probably use it for track levels. Yeah, it's great for track levels. And like I said, to adjust it on the fly. And the cool thing is if you're using it for track levels, at least if in my setup, the way I would do it, with those buttons being able to push up and down, you would be able to mute tracks. So you could like mute a track, turn it on, bring the levels up or down. That's super handy for if you want to do the live mixing, because like if you're rocking out, one thing I love to do is just take the drums out, like in the heat of the moment, like shit's rocking, everything sound great, pull the drums out, and then you just make your own little kind of break or drop or whatever, and then just put the drums back in, and it's wonderful. One thing that would work great on that thing would be able to turn on a filter, and then be able to affect the filter's dynamics. So you can do little filter sweeps over the drums or over like the whole track or whatever. And that's another kind of way of doing a drop. I mean, it's just what you can imagine is what you can create, So, I mean, there's so much. Ableton is great for that kind of stuff. I love it. Some of those interfaces can take AT expander. Yeah. Yeah, they can. SBDIF, I think, too. Which I've never used any of that stuff. But yeah, mine doesn't really have expansion like that. But the one I'm looking at is like a rack mount one with like 8 TRS and XLR inputs and outputs, and I need something like that because I got to have at least 4 for the drums, 1 for the guitar, 1 for the bass, 1 for a vocal mic, and then have like an extra or 2 just for the odd piece of gear. Like if someone's like, "Is that a theremin?" and I'm like, "Yep," and they're like, "Plug it in." I'll need like extra space to plug that stuff in. And that way I can just annex all the mixers, because that'll make my signal chain a lot more simple. Super, super easy. Like my signal chain right now is insane. Like when I break it down, it doesn't sound stupid to me until I start breaking it down to someone. And then people are just like, "Oh my God, it sounds so complicated." I'm like, yeah, it is. It's kind of unnecessarily complicated just because I'm using 3 mixers as one, all daisy chained together. But hey, it works for me. It's fun. It's a blast. But yeah, so the way I've got my looping situation with this is that this button right here will punch me in. Let's see, I'll clear it all out. This button right here, I punch in, so it's like boom, that'll start recording. So I'll playing something, do, and I have it set up to where it'll record 4 bars and then start playing. I could change that to 8 bars, 16 bars, whatever I want, right? All right, so it just recorded 4 bars. It will loop up the 4 bars, and then I can overdub. Boom, overdubbing now. So now we're overdubbing. And if I want the overdub to stop, I just hit play right there. Boom. Now it's just playing. And then if I want to take out the last thing that I recorded, I've got a button for that. I could take it in and out. I could completely clear it all. Gone. I can turn on my drums. Let's see. Hit play. So I got drums there. I can turn on my metronome, which you guys can't hear, but I can hear, and it helps keep me on track, you know. Pull the drums back out, put them in if I need them. I've got transport controls, you know, I can play, stop, the master track. Yeah, a couple of buttons like these ones are...
It's a new life for me.
Sorry about that. Blow your fucking eardrums out. But, yeah, you just map it how you want it, and you just make it useful for your system. But I love the idea of this thing because the functionality is insane. I could do so much with it. But yeah, one thing I want you guys to do is in the chat, send me ideas for some song mashups, like any sort of any 2 songs that you would like to hear mixed together or something. And like, dude, they don't have to be in the same key. You don't have to do your research. I can adjust all that stuff. I can pitch them up. I can pitch them down. I could transpose them, slow it down, speed it up. You know, do whatever I need to, but pitch me song ideas that are just like random mashups. Just like if you hear a song and it sounded cool, be like, man, I'd love to hear that thing as like a hip hop song with some like beats on it, or just whatever. Yeah, just holler at me, let me know. Just leave it in the chat. I don't even have to be streaming. Just if you hear something on the radio and you're like, man, that'd be really cool mashed up with this one song, just leave it in my chat and I'll do it, because this is I can slap these together fast because I've just streamlined the process. I've done it so much. So just let me know, guys. But that's probably it for now. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, but I might work on another song here today, and if I do that, I'll stream that one for a second. And then just let me know how you guys like the vibe, man. I've got like a couple different streams now. It's like I've got the live jamming with like acoustic and like hand instruments, and like harmonica, and then I've got the style where it's like electric guitar and rock and stuff like that. And then we've got like some of these like Bike Thief styled hip hop mashup sort of things. Those are cool too. And I don't have a rhyme or a reason to it. I don't have like a schedule or like a way to decide when and where. I just kind of, whatever I'm working on, I like to show you guys, and so that's cool. But let me know what you guys like and what you're into. Because we can make it more malleable. We can adjust. But yeah, so I'm probably out of here. You guys rule. Appreciate the support. And let me check in the chat one last time here. Water Bear still trying to get your Tidy Labs working. Yeah. Dude, I noticed it kind of slows down the computer a bit. It's like freaking it out. Signal chains, I'm beginning to wonder if they are complicated by nature. I'm always bouncing around my signal chain. Yeah, you're going to always adjust it. There's always something where you're just like, oh, you add a new piece of gear or you're trying something new. It's like, it just, you just have to switch it up all the time. I should just leave it alone and muscle memory it. It won't happen. No, it won't happen. Mad World. Any Rage Against the Machine song? Hey, yeah, Rage Against the Machine would be good. Yeah, we could do a Rage. A Rage song would be legit high energy, man. I did one with Jimi Hendrix one time, like a straight up Jimi Hendrix mashup, a bunch of his different songs over like some heavy beats, and like, dude, that thing came out awesome. But when I switched all my software to my new computer, I lost a lot of old projects. But one thing I've learned is to not be beholden to some of these songs and projects. It's like, just keep moving. Keep making stuff, because when one door closes and a window opens, something like that. So don't be afraid to get rid of old ideas, or even to hit that delete button. Sometimes I'm just like, delete, goodbye. It forces you to not be beholden and just be like, yeah, this is my good stuff. I'm going to save this to show to everybody. It's like, if you want to show somebody your talent, you'll have to make something new. And so I'm a fan of the delete button. But all right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace out. Have a crushing day. I might see you guys again today.